Hi guys, Squall here, and welcome to another episode of my realistic playthrough on Derail Valley. If you remember, we were back in the machine factory, which is where we are now, and I'm just reversing the locomotive back into this loading bay so that we can then get this thing loaded with the parts. I can't remember if we're going to take one or two parts. I think maybe just one, but I bought both of them just in case, so we'll find out in a second. I think we're still missing the S282, so there's no part for that yet. But if I jump off here, head over to the loading bay, I think anywhere here should do us. There we go. Right, if we go for a load now, yeah. It loaded one part, which is basically the part for the 282. Obviously needs a brand new set of wheels. So that's that. We don't have the S280 yet, so I've not found it. I don't know where it is. Maybe I've seen it on a previous video, and I can't remember where it is if I have. Let me just shut that off for now. I'll just stick the brake on. So yeah, we've got that loaded. Now we need to figure out what we're doing, but there's a couple of things I want to do before we find our jobs, and one of the things I want to do is head over to here. We're at Machine Factory here. I want to head over to this little shed, the yard thing there. There's something there that we need to unlock, and then we'll come back. And of course, when we leave the city and come back, we may have a different set of jobs when we return. So anyway, let's jump over there now and get that thing unlocked. Right. So I have walked down this track for Machine Factory to about here where the track's starting to turn left. And if I now head inland, I should be able to shortcut across rather than go down to the track and come back. I could have done this in a locomotive, but I thought, yeah, I'll just run there. We'll run there and then we'll just teleport back. The whole point is we're trying to find the shed. It should be down here somewhere. I can't see myself on the map, so I have to sort of almost dead reckoning the whole thing. There should be a valley coming in from here. There's the track. There it is. Lovely. And then there should be a shed there, and I did check that I brought my keys. Because this will unlock the little battery electric vehicle. There's a siding. I don't know what the siding's for, but there's Old Bob's Garage, and we've got the key for Old Bob's Garage. So we're going to get that. It's Reginald's Old Bob's. There it is. And we can unlock that. And then the grand opening. Dun, dun, dun. Look at that. Now this thing is quite funny. In the latest update, which came out a few days ago, 99.4, this thing's actually had a little bit of a boost in its power. They tried to make it a little bit more drivable. The problem it has is that it's quite funny actually because you sit sideways. It is such a funny vehicle. It's completely electric. You obviously have to plug it in to charge it. The problem it has is it's very slow. So if you look at that speed limit there, 30 kilometers per hour, it is just a little shunter. But now that we've unlocked it, in theory, we should be able to spawn it as a work train. There you go. So now you can basically click anywhere, pick your destination, confirm, and for $1,000, you can now spawn that work train, which is incredibly useful. Let me just get rid of that. It's incredibly useful when you want to just have a way of pushing things around. You can spawn this battery electric. It used to cost more, now it only costs $1,000, and it's quite a cool bit of kit. We're not going to drive it right now, but now we've got it unlocked, we can spawn it anywhere we like, so we don't need to drive it away. What I'm going to do now is teleport back to the machine factory. So $222. We'll spawn back there, and we'll go over to the shop and see if we can buy some stuff, and then we'll have a look at what jobs we've got available. Now, there should be a whole bunch of new things in here. And I can see one already, proximity sensor. So this is going to cost a bit of money, this is. Right, we've got a high-tech tail light left. We've got a high-tech headlight right. What else have we got? We've got a high-tech tail light right, and the left is over there. I don't quite understand that, but okay. What else have we got around here? We've got the proximity sensor. There should also be a proximity reader. I can't remember if we get that from somewhere else or not. Or if it's in here. No, I think it is in here somewhere. Oh, demonstrator paint. We need a few of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. That's going to cost 280 grand for 6 of them. Absolutely outrageous. The remote signal booster. This is the big new one. A gadget that extends operational range of the locomotive remote controller. See the game manual for more information. The game manual's been overhauled as well, by the way. We're going to get 18 grand. We'll just get one today, because that is quite expensive. A coupler-mounted tool that feeds obstacle proximity information to proximity readers. See the game manual. So we're going to buy the 8.5 grand. Let's think how many we want. We might want to put one on the front of the D6, the back of the D4. It's hard to say. I'll just buy 3 for now, and we'll see how we get on. A defect detector, a gadget that alerts of a derailment or brake shoes overheating somewhere on the train. Fantastically useful. We're going to put one in each of our museum, the DH4 and the DE6. Automatic train stops not new. We've used them before. A toolbox is new. Can hold 12 items. These are great organisational tools. I'm going to buy 4 of them. What else have we got that's new? We need the reader yet. Where's the reader? Proximity reader should be around here somewhere. There it is. Proximity reader, a gadget that shows information from proximity sensors. So I've not even used this thing yet. So this is going to be as fun as it is for me as it is for you. So I'll get a couple of those. I don't want to break myself, but let's have 3 and let's have an extra one of those sensors. There we go. What else do I want? DVR2 I don't need. A battery charger. Very useful. Probably put one in each of the DH4 and the D6. The wireless MCU controller. This is the... I'm not going to buy this just yet. This is the universal control stand. To operate the supported locomotives from alternative positions. Now this doesn't work in the rain. But you can see that it has all the controls that you would need to operate a train. 30 grand, and that's the stand that goes with it. This is a large... You don't have to put that on there, but you can do. You can put whatever you want on here. It's just a stand that you can use. So we're actually going to buy a few of them. They're only 1,000 each. We'll have 6 of them, which we'll keep in the shed in case we want to use them at some point. And what else do we want? We want things to mount stuff with. So I imagine... Let's see. Those signal boosters there might be better on a little H bracket. Maybe a medium one rather than a large one. If they've got any around. No, can't see any. Yep, there they are. So maybe we'll have a few of those just to make sure. We have got some of those. Just want to make sure we've got enough. So we've got the 3 proximity readers. Don't think we need much more. I mean, soldering wire is something that you can never have enough of. But I think we've got enough back at the base. So I think that's going to do us for now. I'm not going to bother putting our little lights on yet. They are 12 grand each. I think we'll build up a bit more money and then come back and get some of these. I'm okay with things the way they are at the moment, but we will have an episode, I think, where we pimp my ride, so to speak. Defect detector. We just need one on the... Yeah, just the DH4 and D6, I think. Yeah, alright. I'm going to be here all day buying stuff. Let's do that. 300... Oh my god. Well, we're on 1.4 million. And now we're not on 1.4 million, because that cost a lot of money. I don't know what this guy's commission is in the shop, but even if it's 5%, he just made an absolute... Oh my god. Surely there's a better way of doing this. Okay. Right, let's get back to this shed. I've no doubt that I'm going to have to organise a bunch of stuff here. Because that is an unholy mess it's just created. I did actually organise some of it into little briefcases, but... Dear me. Yeah, come on, let's just have at it. Let's go. Let's go. Boom! Believe it or not, I did have an organised shed, and now I don't. Right, give me a minute. Let me just reorganise this. There we go. I've had a quick tidy up. So I actually regret buying too many stands. That was overkill. Did I really buy 6? I don't remember buying 6. These toolboxes are cool. So basically, you put them down anywhere, and then you click on this little latch here, and you can just transfer things in and out of them. So you can literally put your tools in them. The next one, I've put all the little gadgets we bought. So instead of having them scattered around the place, you can put them in a little box. Same thing with the clinometer and the lights. And then this one down here has got my clocks and my speedo in it. Briefcases work pretty much the same. They're just a different style toolbox, really. I've put my gaffer tape or duct tape in there. And then down here I've got these. I've got my DVRT. This has got my exhibition paint. This has got all my sand. Up here I've not used that one. That one's got all of my rotary switches in them. And these have got the all the rest of them, the push-button ones and the on-offs. I've put all of my licenses into here, apart from one. Annoyingly, all the licenses don't fit into one container. You end up with +1. So I guess at some point I'm going to have to buy another one of those boxes. You could have put all of these into little boxes as well, and I may do that at some point, but for now I quite like having them just kind of laid out here. These boxes here, I can't for the life of me work out what they've done to them. You pick an item up, you press the R key, you drop it like that, and then you pick the box up and it doesn't stay in there. And I can't find any access point on it, like I can with these things, to say that they can actually, you know, have an inventory space. So at the moment they just feel like complete waste of time, unless I'm doing it wrong. I'll keep them there for now. I've chucked the rest of them in the skip there. But anyway, that's got it all tidied up. So the next thing to do, I'm not going to mount everything today. Although I might just mount the signal booster if I can find what I did with it. What did I do with it? I put it in here, didn't I? Battery charger, remote signal booster, this one. So I might put this inside the DH4, because that's the remote control access point. And just mount it on the wall, which I'll need the drill for. And I won't need the crimping tool. We'll have it wired to the electrics. And we've also need the soldering gun and the solder. And the way that you apply solder has changed as well. You basically like drag and drop it in, and that's how you load it now. So none of that kind of switch into the soldering gun, click, drop, pick another one up. None of that. It's all gone. You just drag and drop now, which is cool. So let's go and quickly mount this into the DH4. And then, where did I leave my DH4? I left it over here somewhere, didn't I? Did I leave it over here? No, I left it over here. I left it over here because we just loaded all the parts onto it before I got distracted. There it is. So, I'm thinking, at the moment the range is 600 or so meters maximum. We could even mount it sideways, couldn't we? And we could have it like that, effectively. It doesn't need to go vertically. It does arguably look a bit nicer. Maybe there. Yeah, that'd be a good little spot for it. Let's put the bracket up for that, which I didn't bring. Let me go and get the bracket, guys, and then we'll mount it on the wall. Also, the drill sound, which was super loud. The noise of the drill has been reduced. I don't know by how much. Let's have a quick look at the signal. So if we put it like that, say that, it's going to be on one of them. That'd be too big, wouldn't it? So yeah, one of those is the way to go. If we grab hold of that bracket there. Why is there a truck here randomly? Grab hold of this, jump in the cab. I reckon somewhere like that should do it, and you can test it before you drill it. Oh, you kidding me? You're not going to mount flat? Oh, you scumbag game. That is so annoying. Why? Why does it only mount on its edge and not on the back of it? That makes no sense. Okay, well, let me go and grab a different bracket. That means you're going to have to use like a 90-degree bracket. Where's our bracket? That one. So we can't use a flat one. Whoops. Can't use a flat one. We're going to have to use something like this. which just seems a bit ridiculous. So we've got to put it like that, and then mount it like this. Meh. I'm not really down with that, to be honest. Nobody wants to mount it with one of these. You want to mount it on the back plate. In fact, the whole thing should have mounting holes on it. So that means you've got to do it something like that, I guess. And then do it like this. I mean, it's fine, I don't mind it, it's just a bit annoying. Oh, they have reduced that, haven't they? They've reduced that quite a lot, actually. It's no longer absurdly loud. Is that the right way? It's very hard to tell if that is facing outwards the correct way. You want it like that. Okay, that's fine. Then we'll take this. And that should be it in theory. There you go, boosting. There's nothing else to do. There's no on switch. There's no settings for it. It says it's boosting. So hopefully that gives us a bigger range. But as to what the range is, I'm not sure. Maybe that's in the manual. Hey, what do you know? It actually is in the manual. If you search for boost, look. Search for boost, it says remote controller. Remote controller recommended range is 400 meters. Signal loss may occur above 650. And then you click on the remote signal booster. And it says when the booster is active, is within the default range of the controller, extends its range by another 2,000 meters. This is particularly useful when shunting long trains. So it's added 2,000 to the 400. That's massive. You can have like 2-kilometer trains now. That's absolutely amazing. Anyway, what time of day is it? Looks like it's getting late to me. Why is there a floating... Okay, that's weird. It looks like it's getting late in the day, so I guess we better start looking through these jobs and picking something out. Okay, goods factory. Now, I did bring the job from the harbour, which goes down to the harbour military base. We've also got... Oh, we've got the trams! You remember we went up for the BE2? It swapped the cars for the trams. Holy smoke-a-rooney. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? There's 2 tram jobs that dwarf the military job. Look at that. 4 tanks. Less money than taking some trams. What the heck? Even that's 40k just for hauling empty cars? Which is more than that one. That's empty cars as well. Blimey. Okay, well, I think we know what we're about to do here, because we're just about to get down to the harbour, then get over to the museum. That's the job. There's a City West on the way, but for 6 grand, no. Can't be bothered with that. So what order do we want to do these in? Well, the biggest paying job is this one. So we want to be dropping that one first. Let me put that one out of the way. So in order of paying, we'd go like that. So you drop that into D. Remember the harbour looks like this. So we drop that into D, which would be really annoying because you'd have to come into C in order to drop into D. So in actual fact, it would be easier if we went forward and reversed into C. Let's do it the other way. Drop C off first, like that. So we go past C, keep a left, reverse back into it, pull out that way, reverse that into D, pull out that way, and then drop it into military. Or we drop the military first. Either or. In fact, the military first would technically be easier, but we're risking not getting the bonus, but I think that's the right way to go. Okay, so we do B7I, so we come past this way, keep left, reverse into B. Depending on the length of the train, we either pull out that way, or we can just pull out forward, reverse into C, come back out that way, reverse into D. And that is easy money. And if you want to throw in an extra bonus 40 grand to pay for the bills, you can also do a G drop, which is here. So after you've dropped D, you then drop G. And we'll just not do that one because that's... Oh, that's a G as well. You might as well do that as well. Okay, right. We're doing those 5. So G1S pays more, so that will go there. And then there. So that's our order of pickup, left to right. So we're going to grab that first, then that, then that, then that, and that, and then drop them in that. And I reckon this will be a nighttime run. Yeah, okay. Let's start off by going and getting this one. Machine Factory C2S, which is... Machine Factory is C. We are currently at C, so that should be easy to grab. Right, I'm going to assemble this. It's probably going to be nighttime by the time I've got this assembled. I don't know what the weather was going to do. Was it just hazy all day and all night? Yeah, okay. So fairly clear skies expected. Oh, something slightly annoying's just happened. I've assembled the job. Assembled all the jobs here. So I've got this one here, here, all the trams. And I went to come get this one, the tanks. And the tanks are no longer here. They're supposed to be in E10. But they're not there anymore. So, I had a look in the military base. And I might as well put that in the bin because the only thing that's available is what I can see in there. It's that one. So I can only imagine, I think when I went to get the BE2, I think that job became invalid because I think the tanks were there when we came in, but then I left the area. And the game's not really spawned anything worth having at all. So, yeah. It doesn't matter. We've still got these paint jobs here, which we'll now do. But there is one thing I want to fit before we leave, and I totally forgot about this. So I think before we go, I'm going to quickly fit it. And that is the defect alerter, this one. Defect detector, as it's called. Let me have a look at that. So I reckon that would either fit on either one of those brackets, or possibly one of these brackets, but I am going to test it to make sure. If I click that there, that would sit on it like that. Which looks pretty decent, actually. I think that probably suits it. So if we take one of them, I'll take another piece of solder. And then it's a case of where do we put the defect detector? In theory, I think I bought 2 of them, didn't I? Yeah, so in theory what I should probably do is mount one in the DH4 and one in the D6 on the basis that... We're not going to use these yet, we'll mount them some other time. On the basis that I'm going to be in one carriage or the other, aren't I? So if I quickly look at my inventory now, I've got 2 brackets, 2 of those, 2 solder. That thing can go there, that can go there. I think I need to remove... Oh, we haven't got... Oh, you don't need to deal with spent cartridges anymore. Interesting, you just load them like that. So when they're consumed, it consumes the little plastic thing. Okay, let's quickly go and chuck these. Oh, by the way, the wireless as well works fantastic. Like, I've got a really long train here, and you can see the signal is hardly dropping off at all. Which is fantastic. I did send the train all the way down out west slightly, and then reversed it back up, and the signal just went down like a one or 2 bars, I think it was. Where, if you consider how long this train is, it's like 100 meters... 230, 400, 526. The signal degradation normally would have been pretty bad. I'll tell you what I'm going to do is just turn off these engines. That won't leave them running. They're just idling. The signal degradation would normally have been quite bad, so I think what we'll do is we'll put one of these... You kind of want it to be visible though, don't you really? I guess if you're in the eye line, that would be a decent spot if it'll let me. Something like that, maybe. And put the light on in here. Well, that doesn't look very good at all. Maybe like that. And then just do it like that. Even though it looks a bit weird, because you're actually drilling into nothing. I presume the game will still let me do it. And then that way you can still see the defect detector while you're driving. You see that it's up there or it's down here, and none of those look particularly nice, and I've already got those bits of equipment. If I was starting again, I might rearrange this slightly, but I think, you know, we are where we are, so let's just drill that in. Yeah, you see, you're kind of drilling into nothing. Maybe I should have used the small bracket, it doesn't matter. I've got the big one now. I think it'll be covered up anyway once we put the item on. Okay. There we go. And then just solder that in. So that being a defect detector should tell us if there's any problem with the train, like if something's derailed or whatever, we should get some kind of an alarm. I've not actually used it yet, so I'm not really sure what it really does. I'll have to have a look in the manual. Now on this thing, when we're sat here, maybe we can put it up there. So maybe for this one, kind of put it up here maybe. Because that's still in line of sight then, isn't it? We've actually got room for something smaller there next to it. I haven't bothered to put the wireless booster in this one because there's no real point. It can't be operated by remote anyway, so you could put a booster in here. But I don't think it'd be very useful. There we go. Then we do that, we drag that on top of that. Or rather, we drag that on top of that. I do like the way you drag and drop solder now. I really didn't dislike the way it used to work. I'm still not massively keen on the idea of one reel of solder per gadget. I understand why they've done it, but I'm just not keen on it. Anyway, that's in. I'm just running this diesel here at the moment. This one's got plenty of fuel. We're running, I think, one D6 and a DH4 should be plenty. So what I'll do now is I will hand these jobs in and put my power tools away in our lovely little toolbox. I must admit, I do like being able to organise the tools in the shed. It's quite nice. And the way you do it, you can just... There's many ways of doing it, actually. I'll show you the different ways. One of them is... if we have a look, it's this one here, isn't it? So one way is just drag the item in, like that. Another way is to shift-click it in. So it does it like that, effectively. And then yet another way is to take the item in your hand, hold the R key, where you would normally put it down, but then instead hold the R key and click on that item, just hover over that and let go. And, stupid thing. It puts it in like that. So the three different ways that you can put things in and out. That's an empty reel of solder. That's interesting. That means you do have to deal with the solder. Wait, so how do we... Why have we only got one empty reel of solder? It's kind of weird. Chuck that in there. Right, let's get these jobs handed in. So we'll hand them in reverse order. One, two, three, four. Clock is ticking. Let's get out of here. Right, let's get going here. Now, I'm a little bit concerned. I've been thinking about our entry into the harbour, and I'm a little bit concerned about the entry, given that we need to go to G, and then G again, then D, then C. Originally, I was thinking that perhaps... Let me just get the speed right on this. Originally, I was thinking we'd go into the B yard and then reverse back out into G and then pull forward, do D, then do C. I'm a little bit concerned, having worked some numbers out. So I've worked out that we've got 520 meters of cargo. That's on top of the 68 meters of DE6 and slug, plus the 2 cars that we're carrying that have got parts, or one's got parts on it. So the bottom line is we're looking at about roughly 588, maybe 6. It's about 630 or something meters of distance. And I don't know if that's going to fit into here. I don't know how long that is. There's no information on how long that is, so I can't actually scientifically work it out, kind of thing. So then I'm thinking to myself, well, maybe what we need to do... Let's get the dynamic going. Maybe what we need to do is just go straight to G, and then drop that, pull forward, drop the other one, reverse back down the middle, turn around at C, drop D, drop C. It's a little bit longer, but it's more guaranteed. So maybe that's the way to go about it. Anyway, I just need to set all the switches en route. I think for this, I think I will go direct into G. So I'll go left, 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 then right, then left into G yard. Trying to multitask here. Keep our speed at 60, go direct into G, and our first drop will be into G6 and then G1. So G6 would be left, left, left. And then we're going to reverse back into... Sorry, no, G6, beg your pardon. Right, 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 left. Right, 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 left. G6, and then reverse back after we've done that into... Right, 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 G1. So we'll pull into that, drop, reverse into that and drop. That will then do that job and that job. And then we're over to the D yard. So I think that's probably the way I'll do it. Just making sure we keep our speed. But it's a lovely clear night outside. Really is rather splendid. So I'm expecting nice weather all the way. Here we are at the harbour. Seems to be clouding over a little bit. And I think I've just realised that I've completely had a brain fart moment. Because this... We're not dropping here first. This is the last drop. We're dropping C first. Because that's... I put them in my inventory the right way. And then completely had a brain fart moment. Let me just put the dynamic brake on. We need to go into C. That's what we need to do. So I need to... Left, 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 left. And then we go into E and go straight through. Right, left, right, left. And then go back into C for right, left into 2I. That's what we do. Into 2I. There. And then D is going to be 4I. Which is left, right, left. Okay. Yeah. I don't know what happened to my head there. I had this in the wrong order. Anyway, we're dropping into C2I. So what we're going to do is go past the C yard, reverse into that. We try and get all the way in as best we can, because we've then got to come out that way to the left so we can reverse into D yard. And then reverse into G. Yeah, okay. I'm glad I spotted that before the imminent problem. Oh, good grief. Yeah, this is why I put things in order, but for some reason in my head I just looked at it and my brain went, oh, this is going in first. No, this is going in last. It happens. Anyway, I think we're okay now. And the beautiful thing about that wireless booster is this 600-meter train, look at this, we're still in the blue bars on the signal strength. Normally this would be in the red and it would be flickering. But with that booster, with its 2,000-meter range, absolutely fantastic. Now I'm going to sit on the back of this and ride it all the way to the bottom of the yard because I want to get as much of this train into this yard as possible. And annoyingly, there are no published lengths for this. I don't know how long this is to try and calculate if the whole train can fit here so we can then pull forward and go that way. Because we need to be before that switch. So I'll have to ride it all the way down to the bottom there, stop, come back, disconnect, and then have a look where the front is. If the front's still beyond that switch there, we'll have to pull forward, reverse into loading yard to get some extra space and use it that way. Unfortunately, we're only dropping off, what's that, 7 cars, which is not a huge amount. That 7 cars is 126 meters. That'll bring us down to about 500 meters. I think we'll be too long. I think we'll end up having to reverse into that loading yard. But we'll see. And why is it raining? Oh, okay, fair enough. It's actually gone really cloudy all of a sudden. Look, it was clear sky and that cloud's just come in. So I don't know what time of the morning or night it is. I really have no clue. And weirdly enough, you can buy a stopwatch in this game, a pocket watch, but your pocket... Oh, it does tell you the time properly. I beg your pardon. I thought it was just a stopwatch. It's 20 past 1 in the morning. There you go. Well, I'll just need to slow down because we've got a wet track now. Yeah, it's a bit too early. Now remember, we can go all the way down to the where these bits of track meet that bits of track. The board is not the relevant part. Realistically, I'm going to stop at about there, I think, because I can't actually see where the join is in the track. That should be okay. So that is job 87. And we're looking for 6 cars. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 87. So is that a 63? That's a 63. Lovely. Okay, let's see where the front is. Yeah, that's looking like it's oh, I don't know actually. I think it's beyond the switch, but I'm going to go up and double check. It might just be behind. No, it's it is way beyond the switch, isn't it? The switch is here. Okay. Plan B it is. Let's pull forward and reverse into the loading yard. You can see if we're in the loading yard, we will have plenty of room. But we need to get before this Y junction here. There we go. And now we can flick that over. Look at the power you can get down with that slug. It's so cool. Look, wet track, 2 D6s, and yeah, you can just drop the power. Fantastic. And we'll just hitch a ride on the back. Right, let's see if we've got things set correctly here. So we're currently pulling out of here. Then we're going to have to reverse. We're going to go right down towards D, which is correct. Just need to flick this switch, but we can't do it yet. Should be coming up visibly. There it is. Right, as soon as we've dropped this set of trams here, we're going to go and hand both of those jobs in while the train starts going back forward, so we can then reverse into G and drop those. Because that was a big payer what we've already dropped. In fact, I could just go and hand that one in now, couldn't I? I think we've got plenty of time, but I'll just go and quickly hand this one in. 150k, look at that, and we are 60 minutes early. 150 Gs right there. I catch this up? For sprint. Yeah, there we go. I just want to check these are set correctly. I'm sure they are, but yeah, that's fine. Straight into D. Is it me, or are those logos changed? I don't remember those logos. Some of them, I don't know, either changed or updated. There's something different. I know there was an update to this game a few days ago, and I don't remember reading anything about that, but it just feels different somehow. Could be completely wrong. Tell you what, that rain is coming down now. Blimey. I don't remember the forecast saying rain. I remember it saying mist. Right, let's get that all moving. We've just got the tankers and the boxes to deal with. Now the D yard being where it is, it's right next, it's adjacent to G, so we just need to get 4 to that switch there. Which I think should give us enough time to go and hand this one in. How much is this worth? Oof, payday! It is payday! Look at this! 189,000! Oh my word! Plus 150. Good grief! 1.4 million. Basically back up to where we were before we spent a load of money on gadgets. Next drop is that into G1S and then that into G6S, and we are done here. And a bit of lightning. That's some serious lightning, good grief. We are surrounded by very high metal things, so I think we should be okay. I don't think we'll be the first one to be hit. Yeah, I doubt these are going to fit in, but we may as well see. Let's have a look where they come up to before we start pushing things back. Yeah, no, that's not going to work. Let's release the handbrake. These may or may not be connected together, so yeah, they are. They are connected. Sometimes you get 2 sets of like flat cars, but there'll be a gap between them, but you won't see the gap, and you take the brake off the front one thinking they're all connected, but they're actually not connected. Done that before. All we need to do is, we don't even need to connect the pipes, we just push everything back. That'll do. Stop the train and then flick the handbrake on that. And that will do us quite nicely indeed. This has been a very profitable drive back to the harbour. What we can do is disengage the power. Kill it on that one. We don't need to run 2 now. Right, let's just hand these 2 in. I'll have a very quick look to see if there's anything going to City South, otherwise we're just going to drive straight up there. I'm also going to check this weather forecast, because it is... What? It says misty. That's not misty. What's this? That's a complete lie. 61,000, we'll have that. Like, is the game deliberately coded to do that, I wonder? Just lie to you straight up. I mean, weather forecasts aren't accurate, so you can't complain too much, but I don't know, from a game you'd think it was telling you the truth. I don't see anything going to City South. City South is usually a grey bar, and I don't see it at the City West there. Nope, okay. Let's just get on up there. Back at the museum. Everything is still... Ooh, that's going to be close. Horrendously rainy. There we go. Lovely. Never in doubt. So I've got our little D2 out of the museum. I'll use that to haul it back in. I could have used the little shunter thing, but frankly, it's just easier with this. We've got the D2 here for shunting. Let's use it for shunting. Oh, same thing as previous occasions. As soon as we get onto that platform there, this stuff should despawn and be absorbed into the museum. Will the whole thing fit on this platform? I'm going to have to reverse. I don't know. Let's have a look. Oh, I've overshot. Have I? Oh, never in doubt. There you go. It's taken them. Okay, so we can put these things back away. So if we turn it that way... Oop, bit slippy. Even though the track in here is bone dry. That should be fine. Right, what I'm going to do, I think... That shouldn't really happen, should it? But, okay. We'll put that there. I'm going to turn this off for the night. What I'll do is I'll put the handbrake on. And I think I'm going to sleep. Not that I don't like the sound of the rain on a tin roof, but I need to decide exactly what we're going to do next. Right, so I've had a little sleep, and as you can see, the weather forecast is much, much better. Look at that. Now, I think what I'm going to do is... I think we'll do both locomotives, because we've actually got two here that we can fix up, haven't we? We've got the 282, and we've got the DM3, and we never actually... I've no intention of driving the DM3, so I'm not going to fit that with equipment. And this one, like, I will drive it, but not in this or the next episode at least. There's more stuff I want to do before we get around to driving this. Not least of which, I kind of want to find the SO60 and show you that in operation first. It's a little bit of fun, but I don't really want to jump into this and then get an SO60 later, because it'll... Yeah, the SO60 is a cut-down steam engine. This is the full-blown thing. So I think we'll just paint it up, is what I'm saying. I might stick a clinometer in there if we've got a spare one. So why don't we get out the DM3? We'll fix that. Excuse me. We'll fix that up, paint it up, and then we'll move on to the 282. Fix that up and paint that up, and then we've just got to find that 60. Then that's the real job. Finding that 60. You know. If there's one thing that actually annoys me is when you sleep, it goes round and cuts all the brakes, puts handbrakes on things. I mean, I'm not really sure why that's useful. I think I would prefer a setting for that. Yeah? In the settings, just have something that says, after sleeping, apply handbrakes and brake cut. Yes or no? I would rather the game be in the state that I left it in, rather than me sleep on the sofa and have it artificially change things. Now, there may be a good reason for that, in either gaming terms or coding terms, but as a player, I think I'd rather it just leave it alone. So I'd rather have a setting. Now, how much is this one going to cost us? That's the question. Which one's a service yard? It's kind of hard to tell, but I think it's looking at lines. I think it's that one. Or is that the paint yard? It really is hard to tell. That's the paint yard. It's the next one. Now, we got the parts from this one from a previous episode. So we should just be able to install it and then get painting. I must admit, the DM3 does look nice when it's painted up. I'll show you the paint combos as usual. So yeah, let's get it all done up first. Let's see. Okay, which is that? That's the 68. Let's do the 68 as well while we're at it. Let's get that out of the way. That's not plugged in. Where's the fuel connector? Oh, is the fuel connector on one side? Wait, I can't remember where the fuel connector is for the DM3. And I don't actually see it anywhere. Okay, that's an interesting one. I don't think it's going to reach down here. Genuinely, I can't see it. If you're shouting at the screen, screaming at me, fair enough, but I can't see it. It's usually here, isn't it? Oh, it's on the top there. There it is. Oh. It shows you how often I fill that one up. That is really inconveniently located, isn't it? I think that's the only train. It's the only locomotive that has it on the top. Right, here we go. Here's the big repairs. Mechanical power train. I can see the cost over there racking up. We're nearly on 100k. That's a lot of sand. It's not bad, is it? 91 grand. Right, let's get the paint work done, shall we? Put that in there. And I'll go and get some tins of paint. Right, let's get this sanded first of all. Let's get inside. As you can see, it kind of looks like a rusty red by default. And then it turns into a kind of steely grey, I would say, with a very light hint of blue, possibly. Let's drop that. Let's do the outside. And then the outside has exactly the same colour. Okay, right, let's start off. We'll try the DVRT inside and out. And then we'll try the exhibition paint inside and out. And then we'll decide which one looks better. And when I say exhibition paint, I do, of course, mean demonstrator paint. Right, DVRT. When the dust settles, DVRT is, I think, quite nice. Like, it's... I think it's really nice. Most of it is a kind of a grey, like a speckled grey if you look at it closely. Which means it reflects the red lights that you might want to put up quite nicely. And then you've got this nice dark blue contrast for the controls. I think that looks really good. And as for DVRT on the outside, well, you can probably guess. It does, of course, look the stock bright blue colour. The sort of Thomas Tank blue with the yellow bit. So what does it look like with demonstrator paint? Right, demonstrator on the inside. Now this is not a cheap paint, so you'd expect something pretty special. And what you actually get is, it's the same, I think it's the same kind of speckly white colour. You get the dark blue trim here and here has been replaced by a very dark black. And then you get a bright red front and side wall. Maybe. It depends what the outside looks like, doesn't it? You also get this kind of dark floor. Let's have a look at what the outside looks like. And it has to work with what's going on inside, really. And so it kind of does, doesn't it? Because what you actually get is red with a white stripe and a black trim. I love that black and white stripe at the front. And then this white. I mean, this is the most impractical thing. Like, that would stay white for about 3 minutes. And then it would be covered in grease and oil and dirt. But nevertheless, I think that looks fabulous and unique. I really like the outside. The inside goes well with it. It wouldn't be something I'd particularly want to drive with that red background, but considering this is just going to be in our museum and not actually driven very much, I think for this build, I'll stick with demonstrator paint inside and out. So that's that done. What we need to do now is pull this out the way and get the steam over here and have a look at that one. Out of all the locomotives that you can rescue, because this is steam, it feels like this is effectively one of the oldest, doesn't it, you know? The most venerable. And really does belong in a museum, you know? Have we left the handbrake on that? Yes, we have. Come on. We're going to stop it making that horrible noise. Now, the thing is about this is you also need to get the little oil canister thing because there's little things on the wheels that you need to lubricate. And you don't do it at the service center itself. You actually do it with the little oil squirty thing. Which is a technical term. Little oil squirty thing, yeah. Where are we going? I think we're going into that one now. No, I got it wrong. No, I got it right. Actually, yes, I got it right. We have to, so this one's a multi-step. Basically with this one, we have to bring it into here and repair it all. Then we really should grease the wheels. And then we need to bring it in here to give it water. And we have to fill up, although I think they might have changed this. You have to fill up the tank, and then you have to fill up the boiler inside. Like, the boiler will draw water from the tank. But I think they've changed it to start the boiler with water because it was confusing players, and I'm not surprised. But in reality, you're supposed to fill up the tank and the boiler, and then finally bring it over for the coal. When you've done all of that, that's when the locomotive is ready to use. Sounds great, doesn't it? Oops. I've fallen into the trench. Okay, right. Electrical powertrain, there isn't any. Mechanical powertrain, right. No, why are you not ready for service? Why are you not ready for service? Do I need to bring you a bit further forward? Nope. It's not having that. does this... I'm trying to remember now. Do I need to do this here or not? I honestly can't remember. It's been such a long time since I did this. Let me try and work this one out. Okay. Back in my mind, I thought to myself, I remember. Did we actually do everything we needed to install the parts? And the answer is no, we didn't. We have to come over here. There's a $10,000 installation fee. So we brought the parts back, but we didn't actually install them, basically. So we just need to bring it back here. Pay the fine. Sorry, pay the bill to install it. And then now... It's kind of weird in some respects. Because you have to pay some mysterious person to install the parts yourself. And then you bring it over here and maintain the vehicle yourself by... I don't know. It just feels a bit odd. But it is what it is. That's how it works. So it should now show up. There we go. LO78 is that one. We're not doing that one. We're doing the 270 and the 78 we are doing. So the 78 is a loco. The 270 is a tender. And we have to do both of them. So we shall see how much this one costs. Mechanical powertrain. It's 30k. The wheels, I don't understand why you pay for the wheels, because if you actually look at the parts that you bring over, they are a brand new set of wheels, and then you spend 10,000 fitting them. So I always found that one a bit odd. 38k for bodywork. Not cheap. $1,000 of oil. Probably like $1,500 worth of sand. No diesel. And then we go to 270, which needs wheels. Bodywork on the tender. There's no oil or sand needed for this. No oil or sand or diesel. So that is that done. So the total cost of that to do up, 135k, plus the 10k for the installation, plus the parts that we had to buy, and we've not even painted it yet, or put coal in it, or put water in it. So, it's not cheap, is it? Now, I've got a feeling that I never bought the little oil can thing. I'm going to have a look, but I'm fairly sure I didn't. No, I did not. I did not buy the oil can. So, what we shall do... I've got 2 DVRTs on me. We'll paint it and then we'll do the oil can, I think. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Couple of demonstrators. Oh, game. Couple of sand, right. Let's get it sanded down. I will have to take a trip. Do you know what? These flags here that I stuck in here, I really should never have stuck them in there. I should have put them in one of these briefcases. Have we got space in one? Yes, we have. I'm going to move them. Let me put that up there in a second. I'm going to put them in here. There we go. Flags in that briefcase, switches in that one, that in that, etc. Tape in that one. Yeah, I didn't buy the oil can. I don't even know if I bought a shovel. I don't see a shovel. There's actually a shovel bracket you can get as well, so you can hang your shovel up. And did we buy the lighter? We bought the lighter. So yeah, I need to go get some bits so that we can actually finish fixing this thing up. But what I'm going to do is we're going to sand this thing down first. We'll get that out of there. Do you know what? I'm going to turn this engine off because I am going to have to take a trip to get some more stuff. Okay, let's get inside. Oh, I'm going to need more sand, aren't I? Of course. Because we've got more than one vehicle. I think we need 3 sand. I think you need 1 sand for the tender, 1 inside the loco, and 1 outside, but I'll grab another 2 just in case. We've effectively got 2 vehicles here, so it's also going to take twice the paint. And whatever you paint on the loco, you're going to want to paint on the on the tender as well. So let's sand the outside of this. Let's put that over there. Yeah, so just the inside of this to do. That should be it. There's nothing else to do on the tender, I don't believe. No. Okay, so that's what it looks like when it's all kind of sanded down. Now I'm going to jump over to the shop and buy some parts. Right, I nipped up to the machine factory and I bought a shovel and an oiler. It's not called an oil can, it's called an oiler. I also just bought some more tinted paint. And what we need to do, you need to open these things, which you can just do by clicking on them. There's 3 of them like that. And then you take this and you basically fill them up with oil. Now the oiler has endless oil in it, so you don't even need to buy it once. It never actually depletes, I don't think. Although, having said that, I've not really driven the steam trains long enough to sort of find that out, so I may be wrong about that. Thing you have to work out, though, or remember to do, is do the other side as well, because when you fill one side up, it doesn't actually fill the other side up. And that one's hiding. And that just provides lubrication to the arms as they move around. Oops. And it does need to be done now and again as you operate the steam train. Not very often, though, but you kind of hear it squeak if you don't do it. So that's that done. So we've sanded it all down. What we need to do now is we'll try DVRT. We can find the paint. There we go. Right, we'll try DVRT all the way through, then we'll try Demonstrator all the way through, and then again make a decision about what we think the best is. Right, up first, let's go inside. And this is what DVRT looks like. And as you can see, by default, the DVRT is like a grey, like a mid-tone grey floor, I guess, and then it's very green. It's green all around with a black boiler. It's quite decent, to be honest to it. It's not, I don't hate it at all. Let's have a look at what the tender looks like. And as you probably expect, the tender and the locomotive are going to be surprisingly similar. There you go. So I think you can see that it is effectively black. But then when you get up to it, it sometimes has a bit of a sheen to it that makes it look green, but it's... I think it's weirdly reflecting the country outside. It looks green though. I think it's reflecting the trees. Is what I think it's doing. But I think it is by default black, and then inside it's this kind of green color. So black and green. So let's load it back in and try it with Demonstrator paint. Right, Demonstrator. Let's start with the inside. And when it finishes, you'll see what you get is a black roof and then Thomas the Tank Blue side panels. Let's see what the outside looks like before we pass judgment on it. So we'll do the tender first. I'm fully expecting it to look Thomas the Tank Blue. Let's put that over there. We'll grab that one. And what a surprise. And there we go. And that's what it looks like when it's completely done up in Demonstrator paint. It really does make it look Thomas the Tank Engine Blue, doesn't it? You've also got this red aspect to it as well, which is quite nice. Maybe I wouldn't have gone for red here. I don't think red contrasts with the blue particularly well. I think I'd have gone for something else other than that, but, you know, it's pretty nice. You know, you don't feel like you've been robbed for your money, and it's certainly different to the DVRT, so personally, I think that's the best one. I do like the red here, though. Not so much there, but yeah, it's good. I think that's what I'm going to stick with, so we'll pick the rest of those tins up. They will appear back in my shed at some point, I have no doubt about that. And now what we'll do is we'll pull it over to here and start loading it with water, which does take a while. Now you may be wondering, what is that horrendous noise? That is probably because the lubricator's not turned on. So what we need to do is... where's the lubricator arm? There it is. So you need to basically give that a spin. And that will basically lubricate the old joints. And now, hopefully, it won't sound so bad. There you go. So the game gives you clues. If something sounds a bit abnormal, then there probably is something wrong. Now, the hardest part I find about this is just trying to line up the water tender with that water chute. It is not easy, and I can't imagine in VR this being any easier whatsoever. Make sure the front of the train doesn't bash up against that. It kind of looks like it's more or less over it, but it probably isn't. Oh my god, I'm on the roof. There you go. You can see it's not far away, but we really are getting close to this bumper. That there should more or less do us. I'm going to turn this engine off as soon as I get this right. There we go. Right, that's okay because it beeps and it says in range. If you get that, it means you're good. So we're going to turn that off now. It's absurdly bright in here when those lights are on. It really is. There's no clipping between the light up there and the roof, so it just lights the dashboard up. So with this, you've just basically got to fill it up with water. And then spend your money. So basically you pay for your water. But what used to happen is the water would now transfer from the tender into the boiler. And you would then have to fill the boiler up. That's what used to happen. But I think since the update, you don't need to do that. I do hope I'm correct about that, but we'll find out later, I guess. Now, when you're in realistic mode, you can't easily check because you don't get the... You can't just press F4 or whatever it is and get the information at the bottom. It shows you all the stats. Shows you how full everything is. But what you can do is come over to here. Now, before the update B99.4, this used to be completely empty. And what you'd have to do is do this to transfer the water from the water tank into the boiler. But as you can see, it already started with a good amount of water already present in the boiler. And all I'm doing now is just topping it up a little bit. This process used to take ages, like 10 actual minutes effectively. You'd have to do it to transfer the boiler. It would take ages and eventually the water would start to come up. That's the reality of filling a brand new locomotive, filling the boiler. It takes a long time. But that's now been short-circuited and you can actually see the water levels fine. So I'm signing that off as done and we just need to load it up on coal. Now this is a bit easier than water. All we've got to do on this one is get the tender, which is considerably bigger hole at the top, underneath that chute, and it'll be effectively when the tender's about here. So it should be fairly close to that bumper there. In fact, I don't know if we're going to have to reverse it in. We might have to reverse this in to load it. I think we will. Okay. It dinged as if it's ready. That's interesting. It says loading in range. It says coal incompatible. Right, so it dinged because it recognized something was here, but it refuses to load coal into it because it won't teleport it there. That's actually quite funny. I've never actually done that before. So what I'm going to have to do is effectively spin this thing around. I'm going to have to reverse it out, get the D2 out the way, spin the loco around, and I'm going to have to push it in backwards. Right, if we try it this time, it should be fine. That sloshing sound you can hear is the cylinder cocks. Despite the fact the whole thing had a full service, apparently somebody left water in the cylinder cocks. I don't know how, but basically it's water in here, condensed water. Which, if this whole thing had been stripped apart and put back together, there would never have been steam in there to condense into water. But it is what it is. The only way we can get rid of that is to open the cylinder cocks and vent the steam when the time comes. Now I need to get it a little bit further back than that. It says misaligned. There you go. So yeah, it's basically above the tender there, and then we just basically do this. You see, it does actually animate it. If I do it like that, you can probably see it better. Doesn't look like coal, but it is coal, honest. That's another 7 grand, and that's it. That is that locomotive fully restored. It now has water, it has coal, it's been lubricated, been restored, it's been painted, it has absolutely everything it needs to be drivable. It just needs loading up on coal, setting fire to, and then operating correctly. Do you know what? I've just noticed some buses over there. I wonder where they're going. And there we go, guys. The 282. I thought I'd bring it outside and have a quick look at it. Fully restored. Looks pretty magnificent. Probably one of the best looking locos in the game, I think. Really is nice. I hope they had more locomotives, more steam locomotives in the future. I know they added the S282, what, 18 months ago or something, and that was quite a nice little addition. Like, the way it works is quite fun. This is the big boy steam, though. But I want them to add something even more powerful, something that really is just utterly powerful to drive. I think that'd be great. That is the end of this episode, guys. We've restored everything now, I think, apart from the S282. That's the only one we're missing in our collection. And that's going to have to wait till we find it. We're going to start looking around the map to try and find it. It's somewhere around here. I feel like we've been to pretty much everywhere, but I've just not seen it. I just don't know where it could be. Having said that, maybe it could be here, Forest Central. I don't think I looked at that properly. Yeah, I don't know. If you can remember where it is, if you've seen it in a previous video, please leave a comment and just let me know. And I'll try and go and collect it. But that's it from me, guys. For another episode, if you enjoyed that, please give me a thumbs up. And if you're not subbed, please do so. Take care, guys. Happy training.